Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Nuke Marine with Lesson 10 of Remembering the Kana, which will also mean this is Lesson 4 of Remembering the Katakana. Now, today's lesson, I actually enjoy teaching this at my class because I feel it calls upon what made Sazik's process so strong, in that it takes a stroke or a symbol and gives it an imagery to it, and then you use that imagery in your stories to help you remember it for other characters that use that similar. We kind of touched upon it now and again in all these lessons. This one, the entire lesson is based upon this one basic character. So let's start off in introducing it. And it will be 9 characters, so it may be a lengthy lesson, but again, it's the one I have the most fun with when I teach a class. Alright, so starting off, let's do a quick review. Right now down here, if you remember if you think of the vowels in the English as these sort of structures, so the a, I, u, e, o, and then down by the side, if you remember that little song, it's akasata, nahamaya, rawa, and then we got the little lines for the voice marks for the ga, the za, the da. Then we got this ha. So you remember from last time, it was for the fool. The H under this U line is actually not a who, it's a kind of a mixture between our English version of our F and our H. So it's like who and foo meshed together, so you get the who. So let's go back up here. And again, that was a character I had a lot of fun teaching. So we got there's a little puppy tail hanging over the nose, and then between the what I was calling the E symbol for ears, and that would be the who. Again, there's no English equivalent that I know of, but what I would like to do now, what we're going to learn is the katakana of this. Very simple, but let's start and emphasize this, what the symbol is going to represent. When we say who, what I want you to do is think of a bowl of food, F-O-O-D, food. Now imagine a bowl of food, just draw a bowl. So draw a straight line across, and then keeping the pen the same, finish the bowl. That's food. Also looks like a big smiley face, sure, but food. Now for who, what we're going to use is, since we're being conservative here, we're going to use only half this bowl. We don't need the entire bowl. You can, if you get rid of half the bowl, right? You can still imagine that's representing a bowl of food. So we're going to draw this again, but now we're only going to do is do half the bowl of food. And that would be foo. Draw across, and there's kind of like curving down. If you want to, if you think of no, and if you think of me, it's the same stroke. But for us, we're using to imagine it's half a bowl of food. So food. It can be voiced. Well, let's do some sample words. Chi, stretch it out. Chi, chief, chief accounting officer, sure. And who, but we're gonna, so that makes it a pu. That's not a so, that's a ri. So puri, pudding, and that's pudding. Very good food. If you ever go to Japan, don't forget to try out the pudding. You usually find it at all the convenience stores. Very good food, and it's not comparable to the powdered based pudding that you buy at the stores in the US. So if you ever get a chance, get the Japanese version of pudding. Awesome to eat. Now again, it could be voiced, so this could be, we already did a plosive, so it's a chibu, or maybe not chiba, but chibu, and we can also do this, and that would be budin. I don't know, budin, maybe that's a food, who knows. Alright, and that's who. We'll pause it and go on to the next character. Now, in all these lessons, we're going to concentrate on is this right here, this who, this bowl of food. So a lot of these, all these sounds we're going to be teaching the katakana of is going to be this based around food and with this symbol. Alright, there's our who for the bowl of food. And next character we're going to do, let's write out the kana for it. Hiragana for it. And that was the T9000 with its long dagger-like tongue doing eating bowls of soup. Uh, keyword is also going to be in katakana, soup. So soup. Easiest way is to imagine you've ate your bowl of food. Now what you need is a bowl of soup. So let's draw our bowl. There's first stroke will be the soup bowl, or the bowl for the soup, and of course the soup is hot. So if you're going to pick it up from the sides, it's going to burn your fingers. So what you need is a handle to pick up the bowl of soup, the hot bowl of soup. So the second stroke will represent the handle, and right here at the bottom, just draw it in. That would be soup. First stroke, second stroke, soup. So the key word, think of soup. Just imagine that handle is the handle for the bowl of soup. Some words that use this. I guess this is almost soup. Then we're gonna stretch it out. Soup. Not soup, but we're gonna get a plosive. So soup, soup, soup. Bowl of soup. So stretch it out. So soup. Soul soup. Alright, so we have soup, soul soup. Soup, sauce. How cute is that? This can be voiced. So the su becomes zu. So zoop, and sure. Zo, zu. Alright, we'll pause that and go on to the next character. Alright, 2 characters down, 7 more to go. Next character we're going to concentrate on. Scroll down real quick. Hey, you. Now, this one you probably, if you remember, there's a cape hanging on the no parking sign to play the maypole dance, but it had the nude statue, so it was new for nude statue throwing the boomerangs. So for new, if we're dealing with food-based concepts, then new, I think obviously would be bowl of noodles. Bowl of noodles. So, hell, we'll even write that down. So, noodles. Alright, so noodles. So, first thing we need is, we've already dumped our bowl of soup out, or drank our bowl of soup. Now we got our bowl left, and we filled it up with noodles. So, obviously, if you've ever eaten noodles, you realize that when you eat a bowl of noodles, there's always that one noodle hanging over the side of the bowl. That's what this stroke is going to represent. This stroke is the stroke hanging over the side of the bowl of noodles. That's the noodle hanging over the bowl of noodles, making a mess when you eat. Now, if you did meh and you do nu, essentially it's the same stroke, except for we have a bowl instead of the no sign. So there, and that's as simple as that. So that is nu. Words that use this. Se, seinu. I don't know what that river is. It's a river. I don't know which river it is, but it's an example word Hazy gives. And this one most may know. Ka. And somebody wanted to point out is that when you do a ka, there is that nice little upstroke on the first stroke. At the end, there's a nice little uptick, but that's ka. Fu. Nu. So kanu. And we're going to stretch that out. Kanu. Or canoe, the little boat. So canoe, and there are no voice versions of new, so we'll leave it at that. Go to the next character, new. All right, there's our. Let's go on to the 4th character. Now, from the hiragana version, what we had was a little puppy tail on the little sticks. In fact, 2 of them. So when you see that, you imagine 2 people waving sticks of puppy tails, going ra ra ra. So this is ra, not ra. More of a rolling of the tongue, slight roll of the tongue. So ra, T and R mixed together, or T L mixed together, R L. So ra. A good word based on food would be ra. So ramen. So the key word we're going to use is ramen noodles. Ramen. which not exactly the type in the U.S. where it's just quick food, is boil up in 3 minutes. You think of the ramen at the ramen restaurants in Japan; they're pretty good. A little oily for my taste, but quite a few people like it. So, easiest way to, if you've ever seen a bowl of ramen, what I want you to do is a bowl of ramen is hot. So what this first stroke is going to represent is, imagine someone has gone into the bowl of ramen and lifted it up with their chopsticks right above the bowl. So that's what this first stroke is. Imagine this first stroke is holding the ramen, the chopsticks holding the ramen above the bowl, so you can blow on it because it's a hot bowl of ramen. And the next stroke is representing the bowl of ramen itself. And there you have it. Ra for ramen. So it's the first stroke for the ramen you're blowing on, and then the second stroke is the bowl itself holding the ramen. Ra, ramen. Words that use this. If you're into, so ra, which you just learned. Hu, but what we're going to do is voice it, so now it's bu. So rabu, dub, or love, L-O-V-E, love, but rabu. Second word, you're going to like this one. You probably see it at the, when you order it at a McDonald's or something. So, ko, ka, coca, ko, but stretch it out. So, Coca-Cola, finally. Ra, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. Trademark Coca-Cola corporate. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so Rabu and Coca-Cola. So again, when you're done with all this katakana, you're going to just have lots of fun looking at the menus at any fast food place, since they'll have a lot of the American words that are just used with kana. And play your games trying to figure out what they're trying to sell you. This isn't a voice one, so we'll pause it there and go on to the next character. Alright, fourth character. Let's go on to the fifth one. So we've got fu, su, nu, and ra. Next character, again, this is one of those that you're not going to see it pronounced this way very often. But remember, this is the character from the Olympics, or the I'm woke, you're woke, depending on how you want to do it. So THC, or the dagger for jumping over the haystack, mark where the toe lands, whichever way. But this is, technically it's pronounced wo, W-O. You usually see it pronounced O because it's used so often as a particle, which usually in Japanese the particles are pronounced different than the hiragana that uses the hiragana for the particle they're using. But this is pronounced wo. So this case, it's not a food-based pronunciation what we're going to use. We're going to go back to the bowl itself. So we have our bowl. So when you think of woe, I want you to think as woe is me. W-O-E, woe is me. Because you had your bowl and you dropped your favorite bowl. And what happens when you drop a bowl is this nice crack. So the second stroke represents that crack in the side of the bowl. Woe is me, I've cracked my favorite bowl. I can't have soup, ramen, or any food in it anymore. Okay, so first stroke is the bowl, and then the second stroke is the crack in the bowl. Woe is me. Now again, this is so rarely used in Japanese words that I don't have any sample words for you to use this. In fact, for me, I didn't recognize the character because it's so rarely used. So now that I've been teaching the class very often now, that's pretty much the only time I remember it now. Don't want to learn as a backward F. Just think of it as the first stroke is the bowl, second stroke is the crack in the bowl because you dropped it. Woe is me. So pause there and go on to the next character. Okay, 5 down, 4 more to go for this lesson. So we did the woe. Let's go on to the next character. Now, I kind of like the character from the hiragana because of the Pac-Man character. So here's the character, and that's Ku from Pac-Man. Ku. For kana, though, what I want you to think of is scoop, as in scoop of ice cream. So here, Ku, think scoop, scoop of ice cream. And try to think, I guess he was actually more detailed on what type of scoop. So we're trying to think of is not the full-on, not this one where it's kind of like full-on scoop. It's a little half scoop of sorts, slightly rounded edges. We're going to work with that. And here's what's happening. You got your bowl of food, and it's also dessert time. So what they've done is they got a scoop of ice cream, and they're going to be serving a dessert. Unfortunately, a little because of the little line here. In fact, you can let this be a example of this first stroke. This first stroke could be this ice cream, the scoop dropping ice cream, or a drop of ice cream, or it's a scoop itself. But either way, there is this. The scoop has dropped ice cream in your bowl of food. So there's the first stroke representing the scoop or the dropping of the ice cream, the drop of ice cream. The second stroke is your bowl of food. Scoop, scoop, coup. Now, so that's the easiest way. Use the scoop, the coup, to help you differentiate why this is coup. Next thing, words that use this. And I'll add some addition for those that are doing kanji. Coup. I'm gonna do the small one means it's a glottal stop. So but it's a small one, so it's a glottal stop. So ku ki, it was elongated. So cookie, 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 and ha, but we'll voice it. So ba, glottal stop. So ba, and it's ku, but we're gonna voice it, so it's gu. So bagu, bagu, or bag. So this is cookie, this is bag. Cookie, bag, bagu, bagu. Let's also voice this while we've got the chance, and we'll do that, make that a pa. So gu, googie, googie, and pagu, pagu, pagu. All right. So now, also for those of you that are doing kanji, just out of interest, you probably notice there are two characters that look, two primitives that look. I call them primitives. They may be radicals. I don't know what the radical terms are, but you're going to have this right here. What if you do Hazig, he's going to describe his walking legs. That's the ku. It's ku. So two strokes. The third stroke is right here. And that makes that the what he likes to refer to as walking legs, or I refer to it as a Barbie doll, but because of the Barbie doll legs. And then when we get to the next lesson, I'll explain that how that's different from the K. Alright, so that's why ku is two strokes, and then this character is, you add the third stroke and it creates this that is used in quite a few kanji. Apologies for those that haven't got the kanji yet. Alright, so we'll pause there and go on to the next character. Alright, so we have our 6 characters so far. What we're going to do is continue on with the scoop of ice cream concept for the next character. So for hiragana, what it was this was ta as in top, spinning the comb like a top on a top of a dagger. For ta here, what I want you to think of is towel. Towel. Because think back to the ku. So there you have is the ku. So first 2 strokes, ku. And it was the ice cream that fell in your bowl. So how do you get rid of the ice cream? What you need is a towel to wipe off the ice cream. And the towel, the third stroke is going to represent the wiping of the towel. So first stroke is the ice cream that fell on the bowl, and then you brought out the towel and did a wipe. That's very, right there, just a very short drop, almost like a little puppy tail. So let's look at some distinctions real quick before we go into some sample words. So here we had was su, here we had was nu, and just adding this, the stroke was just a little earlier and did not go through the bowl. And so one's attached to the bowl as a handle, one is a noodle falling over the bowl, and this one is just a small swipe or a swipe to take off the ice cream from the ice cream, swiping it off of the bowl. And that would be ta. Some words that use ta. I can't believe it's not. Ha, ba, bata, 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 bata. Butter. I can't believe it's not butter. And you probably notice for the what they do is when they stretch out the it's representing our version of ending a word with the R. Next character, or next word. So we have the ka, na, kana, ka, kana, kana. And there's very ugly ta, but ta, Canada, and we're going to voice that. So Canada, 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 the country. Okay, and like I said, it could be voiced. So pat, pada, padawan. I don't know, maybe padawan, but pada, pada, powder. Not necessarily powder, but da, da, and Canada. We'll be doing powder later. So their character is done. 2 more to go. So let's pause and clear up for the next character. Okay, so fu, su, nu, da, da, wo, ku, ta. Next character. If you remembered, this was at the flagpole in front of the Seven Dwarfs house. They were attacked by somebody bumped a wasp, bumped the pole, and it upset a wasp's nest. So they ran off in su direction. So wa for the wasp's nest. For here, what I want you to do is think of a tea bowl. Now, a tea bowl in Japan is called a chawan. A chawan. So here, wa, think of the chawan. That's what we're trying to do, is the chawan bowl. Wa. So if you've looked at a tea bowl, it looks like a bowl of food. And let's say this is a but the first stroke is going to be something different. What you're going to notice is, the first thing you're going to notice is the first stroke we're going to do is a nice little downward stroke. And think of that like a red arrow or something and saying, hey, this end up. Because for your bowl, for your chawan, bowl. Okay, so stroke and then draw the bowl. And let that part right there represent like imagine like when you think of a chawan bowl, these are detailed directions on how to properly do the tea ceremony. Who knows? So they're very detailed. You must do everything correctly. So they even have little arrows telling you where to point the bowl, which is point this end to your mouth. Who knows? Maybe because if you try to drink with the bowl upside down, it spills all on you. So wa, chawan, one bowl. Words that use this. Mo, su, mosu, mosuku, ku, mosku, wa, Moscow. And this is actually the way Japanese pronounce it. What English we pronounce as Moscow. I don't know how Russians pronounce it, but this is how the Japanese pronounce Moscow for Moscow. Because remember, they're pronouncing it based on how the foreign persons of that country pronounce it, not necessarily how the English happen to pronounce it. So Moscow. Another thing to note is here you have is the ku. Here you have is the wa. They can look very similar, but now you know the difference. One has that scoop for the ice cream on the bowl, and one is the little tag or the little arrow pointing to this end up on the bowl. And it's all the difference in the world you need to distinguish it as a student of Japanese. Now the next word. There's our ta, wa, tawa, tawa, and stretch it out. So tawa, tawa, or Tokyo Tower, Tower of Power, that type of tower. So the really famous landmark in Japan now is the Tokyo Tower, which is an orange version of the Eiffel Tower from my understanding. And they're making a bigger tower even taller than that. So that's wa, and those are the sample words. We'll pause and go on to the last character for this lesson, and then 18 to go after that one. Alright, and final characters. So fu, su, nu, ra, wo is me, ku, scoop of ice cream, ta, and wa, tao, and wa. Last one's going to build on the Chawambo. So I think is what I changed the word was the right here was the ooh la la. So there's a puppy tail on the s breasts or two breasts. So ooh la la. Think of the not the cabaret, but the burlesque dancer. Um, I'm not going to redo the video to add that story in, but I kind of like that story now better. So little puppy tails on the breast of the burlesque dancer. So it's saying ooh la la, ooh. But for katakana, when you hear ooh, I want you to think of is ooze, or ooh. Maybe of the Sulu variety. Ooh. So for ooh, what you're doing is something is you're in your tea house. Imagine you're in a tea house and it's a very old house, lots of smoke. People are smoky in there. There's cabos over the place. So up on the ceiling, the black things are whatever is on the ceiling, and this something is oozing from the ceiling and dropped from the ceiling. So the first stroke is going to be this nice little downward stroke. This is dropping from the ceiling, and it dropped into your chawan bowl, your tea bowl. And remember the tea bowl. There was that wa. Is the arrow going for this end up of your bowl, and that would be ooh, ooh, ooh. So draw this. The first stroke represents something falling off the ceiling. Second and third stroke represent your tea bowl, and that would be, and it connects, by the way. But ooh, ooh. Some words that use ooh. There you go. Whoop, hey, come here. Huh? How? House. 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 So, actually it's a pa. So ha, but make it a plosive. So pa, pa, pow, how, pow, pow, ta, not powta, but voice it. So powda, and then stretch out the da. So powda, powder, powda, powda, powda. Now, before we go on, what I would like to say is that there is no, in Japanese, they don't have is a V sound. V. What they do to simulate or tell students to represent the VU, so let's say you have a VU. What they will do is they'll take this U and they will add a voice mark. So the U becomes VU. VU. Alright, so that's about VU. What we'll be doing also in the next lesson, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit here, is that since we don't have the F or the V and maybe a couple other exceptions, is that what they're going to use for katakana, since this is using katakana for a lot of the loan words, foreign words, or even for pronunciation of foreign words in school, they kind of cheat the system a little bit. So we haven't learned the a, I, U, E, O yet, so I mean, we got the U, but we got the A and the E and the E. We're going to learn that over in, I think, in one of the last lessons. But what you're going to find out is by, let's say, doing a fu and then adding a small a. This becomes a fa, F-A, fa, father. In addition to, you can have this vu, or in our case, we do the u, right? And then they'd voice it, so now it's a vu, and then we add the a. Now that becomes a va, vu, a, va. And what I'll do is in the lessons when these actual vowel, what we consider vowels, start popping up, is I'll give the other pronunciation examples of these compounds or diphthongs that will be popping up. And again, they don't normally exist in Japanese words, but because Japanese like to incorporate foreign words into their language, this is the way they've skirted the system that they set up with the hiragana, and they use katakana to then help replicate sounds based on their limited pronunciation sets. Okay, and most of this it's not going to be covered here, and you can't get all the practice here in the lessons. So what does have to happen is practice using as you study Japanese. You need to start practicing listening to pronunciations and then replicating what you hear. So here's everything we've covered now, and we've added the u a little later. But fu, su, soup, the nu for the noodles, ra, ramen, the woe is me for the woe, scoop, ku, ice cream, towel, towel wipe, and wa, and then finally u. And we kind of sort of actually we have filled this in. So what this means now. Same thing as before when with the hiragana. You should have been doing this as a daily practice with hiragana. Is you can create this little chart here using the aka, sata, naha, rawa. So just do aka, sata, naha, naha, maya, rawa, un. And then across do the a, u, e, o. And then what you're doing is one by one start filling in this chart quickly. Write it out. If you don't remember how to write out or you don't know how to write out, put a little circle there. And then go on to the next character. And just either go across here or you decide you can go straight down filling in the gaps. Once you're done, and you should get done within, I can't think it'd take longer than a minute or two to fill in everything. Go back for the ones that you circle, the ones that you didn't know. Go and find out, go look it up, find out how to write it again. Think of the story that helped you remember writing it, and then fill it in the blanks again. You can also then go along with this E line and do the kya, the Q, the kyo, the sha, shu, sho, the nya, nyu, nyo, so on and so forth. You also do the gi, so gyo, gyu, gya, all the voice versions. So kakiku, ke, ko, gagi, gu, ge, go, and just again fill it in with all the 4 voiced versions, and then this plosive version of ha. So papi, pupe, po. And at the end of that, you can even add in the strokes for the various diphthongs. It's not too difficult to do this all from memory. Create the chart, then you're just filling in the chart from memory. So you can create the chart really simple. I already showed you how. Do the do the akasata, and then across do the iueo. Then it's just add another things for the voice marks, and then one extra for the ya, you, yo for the diphthongs. And then there's some other minor exceptions dealing with diphthongs with katakana, which again we'll be covering more in detail on the next lesson and the lesson after that. Okay, that is the lesson 4 of remembering the katakana, lesson 10 of remembering the kana by James Hazig. Again, any questions, please post them into comments. If it needs to, I'll add annotations to correct any issues or problems that I did not cover, which are being brought up by the students. Thank you very much, and look to see you forward into lesson 11. Bye-bye.